What's up guys, Alan Turtles here, back at it again with another reaction style video. So today we're looking at a viewer request, why Hayden Christensen played Anakin perfectly, Star Wars Explained, done by the one and only Star Wars Theory. I'm going to be honest with you, I may have watched this video in the past when it initially came out since it's been so long, and I'm a subscriber of Star Wars Theory, so it's very possible, but I don't remember. And it's also a viewer request. It is kind of a bit longer of a video. But I figured we could hop in, watch it together, break stuff down, and refresh my memory and some stuff. So yeah, let's see what we got going for us.
So, I want to talk about something that I've always wanted to talk about with you guys. One of the biggest stigmas out there is that Hayden Christensen was the worst actor to choose for Anakin Skywalker's role. Now, I made this post on Twitter and Instagram yesterday about it, but I'll make a video today going over my thoughts on it in full. Now, Hayden played Anakin in episodes 2 and 3. The majority of people hated the character, and even George has gone on to say this for Hayden: his performance is great, I just don't like the character. Now, while all that might be true, many people didn't like his acting because they said he was too whiny, monotone, and lacks emotion. While I fully agree with all of you there,
I mean, it's hard to deny the fact that
why
he's not the best actor in the world, honestly.
George went through Anakin's story with Hayden,
But I think he fits the role well.
From pre-production to post-production, Hayden knew the character inside and out. He knew who he'd turn into and who he had to start out as. Let's take Anakin as if he were a real human in today's world. You know what? Rather, let's make it personal. Anakin is you. You are Anakin. So let's begin. You're born without a father figure. Your mom and you have to survive being slaves by the Hutts and then some disgusting flying creature that whips you and beats you until you're black and blue. Seriously, that happened in the books and comics to Anakin all the time. You grow up seeing your mom treated like garbage and you can't do anything about it because you're just a little boy who's also a slave and has to do anything for the hand that feeds him.
Jake Lloyd does a good job playing young Anakin, I think. I think all the hate was extremely unnecessary.
Do that in your own downtime. And really, robots are your only friend anyways. Some magical wizard comes along with this beautiful-looking girl and whisks you away to a life of being a space wizard, where you can move stuff with your mind and help people, because after living in a life of poverty and torture your whole life, all you just want to do is have justice for yourself, your mom, and the people around you, as much as you can. So you leave your mom in slavery on this terrible planet, you train, you realize that you're more powerful than everyone in your class, even some of your teachers, yet they don't advance you. They keep you in the same grade when you clearly can move forwards. You get your first mission finally, almost 10 years later, with the only woman you've had a crush on, yet you are forbidden to act on your feelings for her. You have to be like a machine, cold, numb, and monotone. That's the way that they've raised you to be. You keep having these visions of your mother dying, and then you eventually fail in saving her because you were forced to be on this mission, when you mentioned it countless times to your master, who really wasn't supposed to be your master in the first place, but only is because the real one died, and you got pawned off to his student, who definitely wasn't ready for an apprentice of his own. He disregards your thoughts on your mother whenever you mention it, and tells you to focus on the moment. You witness her death, she being tortured by faceless monsters in the desert on the planet you were a slave your whole life. You promised to become powerful and come back to save her, but they held you back. Your master ignored your warnings about her being in danger, and now you have to bury her. You fight the guy responsible for all the turmoil in the galaxy, who betrayed the faction, the Jedi you were brainwashed to obey. Simultaneously, he's the same guy your original master was trained by, so you already have some strained resentment towards him. And then he cuts your arm off. You get married in secret, then spend the next few years being a war hero above all the others for the Clone Wars. You kill the guy who took your arm, then immediately find out you're having a baby with your wife. This is kind of a double or triple whammy. The Jedi can't know that you're with anyone romantically. You can't be married, and you definitely can't be having a child. How will all of this be hidden?
Anakin does have a lot of stress and responsibility on his shoulders.
How will that work? This entire time since you've become a space wizard, I guess we could say, you've been manipulated by this old man who's the closest thing to an uncle to you, Palpatine, or maybe even like a father. You have dreams of your wife dying in childbirth constantly. Now, this uncle figure says that there's a way to save people from dying, but not through the Jedi, who you've trusted your whole life. But you're now starting to doubt a little bit with their actions and their over-involvement with politics.
The unfortunate part is, you have your master, right? He's supposed to be your teacher. So you can't feel like you can necessarily go to him for certain things that you might want to with someone who's just like a plain friend. It's like going to your parents compared to going to like your best friend. There's a difference there. You can tell them certain things that you can't tell your friend, or like you can tell your friends certain things you can't tell your parents, right? So you can't fully get that off your chest, and a lot of the time they tell you to bottle your emotions and hold everything back, and give you the most logical, quote unquote, advice. And then you have Palpatine, who is unfortunately a Sith Lord and a master manipulator. You put your trust in him and tell him things like you're his best friend. Now he has all your personal information and everything. He sees all the stress going on in your life, and he's able to tinker with certain aspects of it to really bring more of a downfall to this character and play into more of the emotional side that Anakin is able to bring out. And like, there's a lot of character development over the movies, and I would say Hayden does a good job showing some of that. It's just like there are a lot of awkward scenarios where his acting doesn't quite feel top notch. But he does play the very like stressed, worked up, emotional side really well. It's just he has an awkward flair to it that some people don't like, you know.
You're now probably the most
He's just in a very unfortunate situation.
You already lost your mom because you were held back all those years when you could have been developing your powers further. To maybe give you more insight a lot earlier or save those from death sooner. Your mind now begins to point fingers at everyone, all in anger and desperation. You're moody, you're stressed out, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not respected the way you should be by anyone here, especially those below you. But yet, you keep your cool by being callous.
And he is a war hero for sure.
Like a machine.
But the council still doesn't look at him like that and give him the respect that he thinks he deserves.
But you're denied the rank of master. This has never been done in history. Not only is that outrageous and unfair, but it would have granted you access to the restricted section that only masters have access to. Perhaps this would have led you to learning how to save your wife from dying, preventing you from turning to the dark side and pledging your allegiance to the Sith and your new uncle. The dreams won't stop either. You find out your uncle father figure is behind all of this and that he's the most powerful and evil guy in the universe. He was even behind the guy that chopped off your arm in the first place. You tell the guy who has always doubted you, always given you a hard time, and always felt like you didn't deserve your powers. Not to mention, he denied you the rank you deserve. He says go sit and wait.
I mean, he's been doubted from the start.
Business. You sit, you think, you cry because you can't really do anything else with all of
Never putting faith or trust in him.
And in response to
like they brought it upon themselves.
Promise to treat you with the power and respect that you deserve, you run to see what's going on. You're caught in between the guy that has always disliked you and the uncle father figure who promised to save your wife. In a split-second decision, without thinking, purely on emotion,
he does let his emotion get to him too much here.
The guy who has always been mean to you. You choose your wife. There's no going back. You're in this life for good. You explode. You kill everyone, including the kids. You're on a power trip. All those years of pent-up emotions and powers that you could never use are now unleashed in a span of just a few hours for the first time in your life. You are sent to kill annoying, evil politicians on a fire planet. You kill them, you see your wife, she wants you to run away and raise your child together. You calm down, you consider it, you look up to think, and what do you see?
I wonder if Obi-Wan wasn't there, maybe he would have actually left.
Blind, dark rage engulfs you. The next thing you know, she's passed out
Probably
on the ground.
not, though.
You don't know how. Now it's just
By the way he was,
you don't focus
talking.
on the Force, you don't focus on your training. You just unleash. You're winning. He gets the high ground. You have a god complex. You think you can do anything in the galaxy, including beating him the way that he beat the first Sith Lord in 1,000 years, which you know all about. This fuels your ego even more, thinking that you are that much better than him and you can beat him at his own move. You try it and you lose. You then spend the rest of your life in a terrible, agonizing misery of depression, where no one you know is around you anymore. You are hated and feared by the entire galaxy, and you never really can see your face again because you're entombed in this black suit. And everything on you is pretty much burned off. Yeah, everything.
What?
Hayden knew this was Anakin's life when he read the script for the role. He played the character perfectly. He was the literal definition of a brainwashed soldier. However, the only issue was he was brainwashed only after he spent about a decade in a life of misery and torture with the only family that he had, his mother. Those emotions will mess you up. Eventually, the obedient dog, when mistreated, no matter how obedient he's trained to be, will respond to nature's calling and bite back. If we take all of this into account, then Hayden did a fantastic job. Watch the prequels again, at least Revenge of the Sith. His entire demeanor is always as if he's processing something. And that's the genius right there. Whether Hayden did this intentionally or not, it's how Anakin should be. Conflicted. He was always conflicted.
I will say his acting in the third movie is definitely better than his acting in the second. You can definitely tell throughout the entire film that he's conflicted about a lot of the things he's hearing, a lot of the things he's doing, whether it's Palpatine or whether it's the Council. He takes a lot of time to process um, any information that he's given, certain things that he doesn't agree with. He just reacts on emotion, which Hayden's able to do really well. But he's definitely very, much in pain in this movie.
Luke sensed it in him, even in
And I feel like he does a good job showing that.
Anakin always had this hate, and it's because of what happened to him as a kid. That's something that only got worse the more he was mistreated and stressed out with all of his complexes that I just mentioned. Also, for those who don't know, Hayden actually paid so much attention to how James Earl Jones sounds as Darth Vader, he would try to pronunciate the same words in the same style of context. Notice how he says the words, "my master." He rolls the words together, just like Vader did. He paid very close attention to the role, and I think he did a really good job. I think Anakin is Hayden, and Hayden is Anakin. Maybe there are others who could play his part, sure, but that doesn't mean that he didn't do a great job or that they could do a better one.
They also had very good charisma with Ewan McGregor.
It lives up to the part. If you guys think differently, I encourage all of you to put your thoughts down below for everyone to see. Now, on a side note, since you have made it to the end of the video, I have released all the auditions for the Vader fan film web series that I'm trying to create. According to Lucasfilm's rules,
it just goes on to talk about his fan film. No, like I said, I like Hayden Christensen. I think the writing could have been stronger throughout the prequels, and that may have helped his character out a little bit more. But I mean, going through and if you watch the Clone Wars and stuff, his character and his personality fits. Hayden does a good job. He really gets into character. He takes a lot of time researching things. He has great charisma with people on set. He definitely shows the pain, the anger, the emotion throughout the third film better than he does in the second one. In the second one, he kind of just looks like he's constipated all the time. I don't know. I mean, he might have been able to do that a little bit better, but he still does a good job in that movie for things here and there. He does play the arrogant part really well. Now, I mean, his character development does make plenty of sense. Like I said, he has no real family. The only people he can go to, he can't trust. He's not allowed to feel emotion, yet he's feeling loads of emotion. The one person he does end up going to ends up being the bad guy and manipulates him. The council denies him master, even though he's supposed to be the chosen one. They doubt him all along, through all of his accomplishments and everything like that. He's having a kid. It's just a lot of stress for him to go through, and I think Hayden did a good job showing that in the third one. The second one's just kind of wishy-washy, He plays the arrogant, like I said, he plays the arrogant young kid in the second one well. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's a writing thing, maybe it's an acting thing, I'm not sure. But with that being said, I still love Anakin. I still love Hayden. They're good, fun movies, He does a good job, and I agree with a lot of the points that Star Wars Theory makes. It's just everybody has their own little tweak to the opinion, which it is what it is, I'm excited to see him in the new Kenobi show, though, and see if maybe anything's developed over the years, if he's able to still tie into that and really draw from his prequel days. So, anywho, let me know what you guys thought down below. If you agree, disagree, like, comment, subscribe. Any video recommendations, throw them in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as possible. And like always, I'll see you on the next video.